Welcome back to Inside City Hall. We are returning now to this week's presidential debates. The two New Yorkers on the stage, Mayor de Blasio and Senator Kirsten Gillibrand, are both hoping to make a splash in Detroit as they continue to struggle in the polls. Joining me now to talk about that and much more, the four members of our Monday Consultants Corner. Tonight we have Republicans Richard St. Paul and Bill O'Reilly. Across the table, Democrats Beth DeFalco and Mike Morey. Thank you all for being here. And I think struggling in the polls is putting it nicely. I will give you the numbers. We talked about it earlier in the show. Biden 35%, Warren 15%, Kamala Harris 13%, Bernie Sanders 9%, Pete Buttigieg 5%. And our mayor and our junior senator did not even make 1%, which is less than Marianne Williamson, less than Andrew Yang. What is going on here?
I think it's very simple. I mean, first of all, there's no shocker that Biden is in the lead. He obviously was vice president for 8 years under a very popular president, President Obama. He's got the name recognition. He's been in politics for many, many years. And then when you look at New York officials, you have the mayor of New York City, de Blasio, you have Senator Gillibrand. But New York is way out of whack with where the rest of the country is. The rest of the country is right of center. And so what happens in New York, they're not going to pay attention to. Or what happens in California. But the only reason Kamala Harris is getting so much attention is because she is playing to the national media, and she's garnering attention around topics and making waves in the national media is why she's polling in that area. Okay,
so now the mayor's got a real challenge, though, right? I mean, he did okay in the first round of debates by sort of bullying his way into the conversation. Not going to be so easy to do that this time.
No. I mean, he did what he was supposed to do in the last time, and I give him a lot of credit for the way he handled the debate. Whether you liked hearing him bullying, that's what he was supposed to do, and he did it pretty well. Look, you've got a field where every sort of piece of the Democratic puzzle has an actor playing to that field. The Senator Gillibrand and Mayor de Blasio, it's sort of hard to figure out which part of the constituency puzzle is theirs. Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren, for the most part, have locked up and are fighting over sort of the far left of the Democratic Party. You've got Mayor Pete, who's sort of this new, young, sort of millennial in the race. You've got Cory Booker and Kamala Harris sort of talking to the African-American and Latino base of the Democratic Party. You've got Bernie Sanders, who's a stalwart, and you have a former establishment vice president. So everything's kind of covered. It's going to be really hard for either one of them to break into and sort of have a big moment. And the reality is they may not. Most of the bases are covered at this point, and I don't see where, without multiple candidates stumbling, for there to be an opening for either one at this point.
Beth, what should they do on Wednesday night?
I think that they're going to have to break out of the mold. Kirsten Gillibrand has to stop talking about Al Franken. They have to put forward some new idea, something that people can grab onto, whether that's Medicaid for all. It can't be de Blasio just talking about pre-K anymore. He's going to have to move. I think the voters are ready for a plan of action, which is why you're seeing Elizabeth Warren do well. She's holding strong and continuing to put the same message forward. I think that they're going to have to come out with an idea.
Yeah, I think that. Go ahead.
I was going to say it's incredibly difficult where they are, and in part because you have a president that drives the narrative every day, whether you hate the narrative that he's driving or not. But it's so hard to get any momentum in this race. You have so many candidates in the first place. You have 20 some odd candidates, but every day it's just responding to Trump, and so you have Congressman Cummings, you have Al Sharpton, you have other people in the news, and not the candidates. You can't get any momentum or any traction. I think that for Senator Gillibrand and for Mayor de Blasio going into the debate, the goal has to be to get 2%. They have to make it until the next debate.
Right.
They don't have to do too much, but they have to do that. And I think they really need to use their 60-second opening and closing, which they have in this debate. They didn't last time, to make, it's the only guaranteed time they've got.
Yeah.
And they've got to make incredibly good use of it. But 2% should be their goal, and they don't need to get 50. Yeah. They need to get 2 right now.
Do you agree that they have to do something other than their canned stump speech? Because we've heard the same thing from de Blasio for about a month now, and it sounds pretty interesting, but it doesn't seem to be taking hold as expressed in the polls, at least.
Yeah, they're going to have to take on the whole field on the stage, and I think Senator Gillibrand may do that. She's been suggesting that there are women in the field that aren't being supportive of working women. Let's hear what she says. Maybe she makes that charge. Yeah. But it would certainly shake things up.
That would be a smart play, because the problem is that neither one of them, there is nothing that they have that is unique right now. And so if Kirsten decides that she's going to say, wait a minute, there are multiple women in this race, but a lot of women on the stage, or a lot of the women on either night of this debate, haven't stepped forward the way they should for working and poor women, and I will. That's the sort of unique way to do it. That sort of carves out something that no one else is talking about. That gives her something unique. That's That's what they both
It might
need.
get 2%, right.
I think the Democratic Party is a party of coalition. So you have the LGBT community, you have unions, you have African American women, so forth and so on. So what I think what the mayor is going to do is take a slice from the African American pie and say, listen, I have an African American wife, I have a biracial son. We've had to have that talk. We stop and frisk and policing. Policing, unfair policing in black and brown communities in New York. For unions and working people, we've raised the minimum wage. So I think he's going to start taking slices of those different coalitions in this Wednesday debate.
But it then does have to bridge into some big idea, right?
Yeah, slices are great, except you forget them.
2%. Absolutely.
One idea, simple and repeat. You simplify and repeat. And if that's what Donald Trump did, we're all capable of doing that. De Blasio lives in a tabloid town. He's capable of doing it too. He loves them dearly. They need one message that people can remember them by.
Yes.
Bernie had that. That's how he became so popular, right?
Everybody needs their equivalent of a wall. Get you a wall. Some kind of something.
Everybody needs a wall.
Okay. Let's take a short break. We've got more to talk about with these consultants. We'll do that in just a minute. Stay with us.